Taking us through the international newspapers today is Florence Villeminot. Hello there. We're going to be starting with some reaction to the deadly shipwreck off the Italian island of Lampedusa.
That's right. The Guardian takes a look at the situation on the ground there, well, in the sea rather. There are about 50 divers from Italy's military and emergency services who are taking turns trying to recover bodies from the wreckage. And it's a really difficult situation for them because of the currents, but also psychologically. And this article in the Guardian is really tragic. They talk about what they're discovering in this ship. They finally managed to reach the hull of the sunken boat, and they describe a horrible situation where there are dozens of bodies packed in so tightly that they're on their feet because basically there were about 500 people on the boat, and those who paid extra money got to be on top of the boat, but those who didn't have as much money, well, they had to pay. They got into the hull of the ship when they were standing there packed toe to toe, as it says.
Okay, and the Daily Beast has some reports from the survivors of the wreck.
That's right. Now, first of all, it starts by saying that the Prime Minister, Enrico Letta, granted a symbolic citizenship to the drowned migrants, but what about the survivors? Well, they're liable to fines of up to 5,000 euros and expulsion from Italy. Now, this is according to Italy's Bossi Fini law from 2002, which makes it a crime to illegally immigrate to Italy. Now, in Italy, there have been calls to revamp this law, especially from the integration minister. Her name's Cecile Kyenge. And also in Italy, a lot of people are saying, you know what, this is not just an Italian problem, this is a European problem as well.
Absolutely, and that's something that ministers are going to be looking at in Luxembourg throughout today. And the newspapers looking at the international aspect of this as well.
That's right. There's an interesting article in the Wall Street Journal today that says that, you know, there's been a debate that's been reignited over immigration, and across Europe there's been this feeling of everyone's really stunned by just how horrible this accident was, and there have been a lot of people have shown sympathy. For instance, the captain of Rome's soccer team, he wore a T-shirt on Sunday that said "Life is a right for all," #Lampedusa. But this article says that other than these signs of sympathy, there's not that much that's being done. It doesn't seem like there'll be any quick change in policy to stop people from trying to risk their lives in such a way. And the International Herald Tribune points out that, this isn't the first time that there's been such a tragedy like this, and it's probably not the last time. There is a real graveyard at Europe's door. Let's honor the dead by engaging in a discussion about which direction we want Europe to take on refugees. And it points out that at the end of the year, the EU is actually going to introduce a new European border surveillance system called Eurosur. It's been dubbed European Fortress 2.0, and the International Herald Tribune says the timing of this, it couldn't be worse.
Okay, well, let's stick with those American papers then. What have they been saying about these raids that happened over the weekend by special forces in Africa?
That's right. Well, the International Herald Tribune takes a closer look at the one that took place in Libya. A man named Abu Anas al-Libi was captured. Now, according to the CIA, he is an expert in computers that helped surveil the embassy in Nairobi ahead of 1998 bombing there. But his family in this article paints a very different portrait of him. They interview his sons, for instance, who say that he was actually just supporting the freedom of others. But there's an interesting article in Sharq Al-Awsat, the Pan-Arab paper that's based in London, that points out that his arrest reminds us that the war against Al-Qaeda is still very much ongoing. And it wonders, well, can we fight Al-Qaeda without America? And according to Sharq Al-Awsat, no, we can't. But at the same time, America also needs the cooperation of Islamic states as well.
Okay, now you've saved a very special story till last, a happy story, it must be said. A British boy who's finally returned home from Abu Dhabi. He was kept there basically by his own phobias.
That's right, and guess where he's going home? He's going to your home, which is Weston-super-Mare in Somerset.
A beautiful town you should all visit, Weston-super-Mare.
So his name is Joe Thompson. He's 12 years old. So he was in Abu Dhabi, and he was stranded there for 18 months because he developed a debilitating fear of flying, and you can read about it in The Independent today. Thanks to hypnotherapy, he was able to get over it, but his parents have spent £40,000 trying to cure him of this fear, and also in canceled plane tickets.
Oh my word.
And so after the 4,500-mile journey, what he said was, "I'm so happy to be home. I can't believe how cold it is here." And the first thing he wants to do is go home and see his dog, who he hasn't seen in 2 years.
Now, was that really a real fear, or was it just a way to get an extended holiday? We've got to ask. Thanks very much, Florence Villeminot there, with a look through the international papers on France 24. Time for us to take a short break on Live from Paris, but coming up straight afterwards, we've got the latest world headlines for you. And in our focus segment, we're asking, has Germany gone too far in its regulation of the sex trade? Stay tuned for our special report.